sir. We have Adams Hill site.
Guys, 904 Foxtrot, inner left base, runway 18, contact the tower 118.7, good day.
Alright, inner left base, runway 18 and tower 18.7. Have a good day, 904 Foxtrot.
Yeah!
Adams Tower, good morning. Skog 519 for Foxtrot on a 12-mile left base, runway 18.
1904 Foxtrot, Adams Tower, runway 18, clear to land.
Alright, clear to land, runway 18, 904 Foxtrot.
Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Non-Rev Stories, Flight Stories from a Non-Rev. On this episode of Non-Rev Stories, I fly down to Dallas, Texas to meet up with some friends for an afternoon of plane spotting. Before we get into this video, let's talk about social media. Green Brothers Flying is on every main social media platform. We are on Instagram at Green Brothers Flying, on Facebook as Green Brothers Flying, on Twitter as Flying_Green, and on Discord. Also, Green Brothers Flying is still selling t-shirts. They are $20. See our social media for details. All links will be in the description below. Now, let's get into this video. On February 24th, 2020, I decided to fly down to Dallas to see a couple of friends and plane spot with them. The day started bright and early for me that day, as I had to get up at 3 a.m. for the first flight out of Little Rock, which was the 5 a.m. flight to Dallas. I was going to take a later flight and arrive when everyone else did, but all those flights were full and I didn't want to risk it. So I decided to hop on the 5 a.m. flight and get there 3 hours before everyone else would. Once I got up, I got dressed and was out the door and on my way to the airport at 3:15 a.m. 45 minutes later, I arrived at the airport and breezed through security. The time now was 4:25 a.m. and I was at the departure gate. Today's gate was Gate 1. Our aircraft was an Embraer ERJ-175 registered November 273, November. Today's seat was 8D, an aisle seat and main cabin extra. At 4:50 a.m. the doors closed and we taxied to runway 4 left for this early morning departure. Soon after that, we blasted into the night sky and we were on our way to Dallas. The flight was a quick 50 minutes this morning. About 20 minutes from landing, we started our descent and shortly thereafter, we landed on runway 17 left. Since we landed on the east side and we parked on the west side in Terminal B, we had quite the taxi. We finally got to our gate at 6:18 a.m. and parked at our gate, Gate B1. Since I was the first one there and still had quite a while before my other two friends would get there, I decided to hop on the Skylink train and go get some breakfast. This morning's breakfast choice was Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is located in Terminal C, so I had to ride the Skylink over there. Once I got there, I got some breakfast and sat down and waited for my two other friends to get there. Luckily, they were both coming into the C terminal, so I did not have to move terminals to greet them when they arrived. After 3 hours of waiting, friend number 1 arrived from Raleigh, North Carolina. Once he got off his Boeing 737 from Raleigh, we talked for a little bit and then decided to walk around the C terminal as well as go into the employee store. Once we did that, we decided to hop on the Skylink and look for some good spotting locations within DFW. We found some good ones, but by the time we did that, it was time to head back to the C terminal to welcome our second friend to the party. We got to the terminal in time, and since he was the last one to show up, we decided to pull a prank on him. My buddy Brett and I walked one gate down and just sat there facing away from the direction he was walking so he wouldn't see us. As our friend walked by us, he texted me and asked where we were. I told him that we were sitting across from the Starbucks right next to the walkway. He still couldn't find us, so Brett and I walked over to him. Needless to say, he thought it was funny and he had a sneaking suspicion we would do something like that to him. Once we all got together, we went back over to the employee store so Jake, our other friend and one of the regulars on this channel, could look at it and buy whatever he wanted to buy. After that, we walked back over to the Skylink so we could go back to the spotting locations Brett and I found prior to Jake's arrival. Once we got to those locations, they did their thing and got the shots they wanted, and while we were at it, decided on what to do next. By this time, it was around noon and we were all hungry. Since we happened to be in Terminal D, the international terminal, at the time of us getting hungry, we decided to make a quick snack break and decided on what to do next. Jake and Brent went to Starbucks and I went to McDonald's to get some food. While I was away, we called the Grand Hyatt in Terminal D to see how much it would be to plane spot on top deck of the hotel. We found out that it was $35 a person with tax, but we had access to the facility and it was an all-day thing. So it was worth it. After finishing our food, we headed up that way. We paid our fee and went to the top deck. The view up there was amazing. It overlooks the West Complex, runways 18 left, 36 right, 18 right, 36 left, and the B and D terminals. We spent about 3.5 hours up there and got everything from ERJ 140s to Boeing 747s and even got the Qantas A380 flight from Sydney. Around 4 p.m. local time, we went back downstairs and back through security to meet up with some other friends. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it, but we still had to get back home. Our flights weren't until later, so we decided to do some more walking around and exploring. After about an hour, Brett had to leave, so it was just Jake and I. Since it was around 5:15, 5:30, and both of our flights left around the same time, we decided to get some dinner. We decided that Chili's in Terminal C was dinner. After having a good dinner at Chili's, it was that time where we both needed to get to our gate so we could fly home. Luckily for Jake, he was already in his terminal, so he didn't go anywhere. I, on the other hand, had to get back to the B terminal since it was a regional flight. Once Jake got on his plane, I went up to the Skylink train and got on it to Terminal B. Once I got to Terminal B, I found my gate and got my seat assignment. My seat assignment for this flight was seat 11A, a window seat and main cabin extra. Our plane on today's flight was November 252 November, and Embraer ERJ 175. At 8:40 p.m., we pushed from the gate and we taxied to runway 35 left for departure. After about a 20-minute taxi, we blasted off into the night sky and we were bound for Little Rock. The flight time was a quick 50 minutes, and about 20 minutes from landing, we started our descent into the Little Rock area. Due to storms on our route of flight, we cruised at 33,000 feet or flight level 330. Shortly thereafter, we landed on runway 22 left and taxied to the gate. We arrived at the gate at 9:57 local time. Not much happened after that as I got off the plane and drove 45 minutes home. Before we end this video, I want to give a special shout out to Grayson Mosier. Grayson is a friend of one of our Discord mods and has been going through a lot. Everyone here at Green Brothers Flying hopes you feel better and you make a speedy recovery, Grayson. Also, flight vlogs will start returning soon. Dylan and I have found an airplane to fly on a regular basis, so stay tuned for those. With that, if you like these videos and want to see more, please drop a like, comment, and of course, subscribe. Until the next one, blue skies and a tailwind.